So again, we spoke the other day about that. So make sure you've gone onto your direct debit mandates at your bank. So you phoned your bank manager, or you've gone onto your online banking and you've actually cancelled that VAT direct debit. The government have given you the right not to pay VAT at the moment. Take advantage of that immediately. Make sure that that doesn't leave your account by you not paying attention to it and stopping that payment going out. You then have the deferral. Don't forget, of course, you have to pay that back later. So put that into your cash flow workings, think about that payment and make sure you're taking account of that later. So again, talk to your bookkeeper or your accountant, or if you do your own books, make sure you update your own cash flow workings. Time to pay. So if you are in distress at the moment because of COVID-19 financially, phone up HMRC. There is a free phone number, an 0800 number. There might be a small wait, but it's worth the wait. You can talk to them and say why you are in financial distress, and they will give you more time to pay. That's really important. They're actually giving you deferral anyway, but they'll give you more time if you speak to them now. So ensure you do that. The couple of things that you'll see coming out a little bit more real time at the moment from the government. First is on the furloughing. So this is the sort of the government support, so people aren't being made redundant. That's being hugely used across all industries at the moment. There's lots of information, and the government's actually given some good information now up on the website. So again, that is going to be reflected in our hub today and is on the government website. So go and have a look. And what we've also done, and Paul's going to speak a little bit more of where you can find this and the practicalities, is some guidance, some templates, some how-tos, what you should be doing. So this is HR law, this is a complex bit of work. So again, if you do have someone who helps you on this, a payroll bureau maybe, or an accountant, take these documents to them and say, look, I need a bit of help completing these documents. Or they're actually fairly simple. You can do it yourself. So follow the process that we've laid out for you. And actually you can get on them and go through this furloughing process pretty rapidly, actually. So it's important, again, for you to understand what's going on there. And the financial side of that as well has become clearer. So HMRC don't yet have a system up and running. They have promised to have it out by the end of April. Now, that doesn't mean they will repay you by the end of April. So you still have to pay out this money to your staff. You'll still have to have those furloughed employees employed by the business. So you still have to keep up that payroll bureau, payment runs, etc. So it's really important you pay attention, get the paperwork in place, speak to your employees, get agreement on what's going to happen, and continue that payment to them. But it really does help you financially. And again, if from a financial point of view, you really do need additional cash in the business now. We talked the other day about the business banking loans that are there. So that's all about you taking that next step. And again, this is sort of the next step in the checklist. Get onto your bank. If you've got a bank manager, give him a call. It's his job to speak to you. If you're online, the quickest way is actually just go to the online banking. This is really true, actually. I've been talking to a number of people recently about this. And so our bank manager said, you can talk to me, it's great, I'll help you through the process, but you need to do it online, it's a lot quicker. And if you're an existing customer, you'll go through the process a lot quicker. There's the risks around that, don't forget, we talked about. So those loans are backed by the government to the lender, not to you. So you're going to still be at risk, and they will potentially try and tie it to you, apparently not to your property, but to you as an individual. So it's always worth just trying to make sure you can maybe extend an overdraft or extend an existing loan rather than setting up a wholly new facility as well. So there's lots of things to think about there. The next one is on this furloughing is a couple of questions we've had in about directors. Can you furlough a director? Well, actually, the guidance is yes, you can. So not if you're operationally involved in the business. So if day to day you're making decisions about your business, trying to be out there selling on the front line of your business. However, if you are a more of a director that just helps out occasionally in the business, so maybe your business has say a family member that's another director. So if you've got a partner, your husband, your wife, or whatever, as one of the other directors on their effectively payroll purposes, and they're not playing an active day-to-day role, you can furlough that individual. Now, again, you might be paying them quite a low salary rate because they might be getting more in dividends, etc., out of the business, but it still might be money that you don't have to leak out of the business. You're able to claim that back from the government because you've furloughed that amount of payroll. Again, don't forget there's a cap on that, the £2,500, but the calculation is now clear. So again, look at the information that shows you how to calculate that, and that's certainly worth looking at. And the whole of the furlough process actually has become a lot simpler now the government's made their announcement. So I would highly recommend go and look at the information. There's a kind of step-by-step process for you to go through, and that should be obvious. If you need any more information, do come back and ask. So use the Q&A, use the emails that we've got to come back and ask specific questions. The last one I want to talk about is the rates and the grants around those rates. So the government have announced a little while ago, and what they've done is they're passing that through to the local councils. So they have instructed the local councils to look at this and to contact the ratepayer. So you as a ratepayer will be contacted by email or letter by your local council, and they will be, first of all, not charging you rates this year, so they'll be resending out those invoices. So you'd have already had an invoice. They're just going to send you out zeros, I believe. They'll also be contacting you about grants. So they're able to give you a grant. Now, it's either £10,000 or £25,000, depending on the size of the business. You're going to have to forgive me. I'm going to have to read some of this out. So small business grant funding of up to £10,000 is available for anyone who's on the small business rates or on the rural rate relief, and grant funding of up to £25,000 for properties of a rateable value of £15,000 to £51,000. So again, those things are coming. So this is the other day where I said, my Boris moment, you don't have to do anything, just sit there and it's going to happen. Actually, here are the steps you can take. So number one, go and find your invoice, your rateable invoice. Make sure you're the correct property. You know who your local council is. You know you've got what rateable value are, so you know if you're that £10,000 or £25,000 level. Then contact your local council. Phone them up or actually look online. They've probably got some links. I've been looking at our Cambridgeshire one. I've been looking at a couple of other member ones as well to help them through this. And there are online forms you can fill out just to make sure your details are correct. They want to email you. They don't want to send you a letter. The letter might go to one of your branches. You might not be there. It might take you 2 days to find that letter. You want to be on the front foot. So get your email into these guys. Make sure they know who you are and who's going to be responding to it. It might also just check, be an email of a member of staff you're going to be furloughing. So it might go into an inbox that's not checked regularly. So again, look to update the information to an inbox that you're really going to check every day. We'll be keeping you up to date on this. So when the councils come out with the information, and they should come out at the same time, but it might be that some councils are a little bit ahead of the other ones because it has to be administered by those councils, not by the government centrally. We'll be on the front foot and trying to make sure you're aware of that. But take those couple of first steps. So make sure you contact your local council, find your information and make those phone calls. I think that's going to really help you with your cash flow short term. When those grants come available as well, you know, up to 10 or up to £25,000 in cash would really help any business at this time. So it's definitely worth paying attention for.